Hi guys, this is Jasmine Brand, and this is December's month of Brand It Forward. I never know where to look, so I'm not cross-eyed, I promise. But I wanted to share with you some top 10 marketing trends that I forecast for 2016. This is just my list of trends that have come from my own career, my own background. So I'm excited to share them with you. There'll be lots of lists out there you'll be reading. So this is just my own personal experience from the last 8 years of doing this. I own a branding marketing company, but I also worked corporate for many, many years before I was laid off. So I definitely have the best of both worlds when it comes to sharing knowledge. So these top 10 trends, you can take notes. I will be sharing this video in the Brand It Forward Facebook group, so please join that if you haven't already. But that'll be here, and then also I'll be sharing this in an actual post on LinkedIn, so let's please connect if you've not connected on LinkedIn. So 10 trends for 2016, and whether you are a career person or you have a blog or you are in transition and trying to figure out what your next step is. These trends, I think, can help you in the fact that it's important that you are aware of what's going on around you, even if you're not someone who's an entrepreneur. And sometimes people tell me, oh, Jasmine, I think a lot of your content is for entrepreneurs. And it is, for sure, because those are my people. But I also think that no matter where you are in your life or your career, it's important to know the tools that are out there for you. So number one is influence. Everyone today is influential. So it's no longer about you have an influence, because I assume everyone I connect with now in some way has some sort of influence. Today, as we look to 2016, it's about asking yourself, where will your influence take you? Or where will your influence lead you? I think the Patty Pie situation with the guy that sold all the pies is a great example. His influence, he's been building this influence around the stuff he loves, jokes, comedy, food, whatever, and now he used his influence to move his career forward. So I think 2016 is a year of influence, but not in the passive way that it was this year. I think everyone's got influence now, so now it's about moving the needle forward. Where will your influence take you? Where will your influence lead you? I think is the question that you have to ask yourself, but also if you're managing brands or clients, ask your clients that as well. Number two, men. I think men are a demographic that's fast growing on social media, but we often forget about them. I'm very guilty of this because I deal with so many things that are women-centric and focused. But men are a fast growing demographic, and it's important for us to not take that for granted, but also recognize that when it comes to building kind of social strategy communication. I sometimes catch myself when I'm writing that the content I'm writing is very focused towards women. And I go back and try to make it gender neutral. Pinterest is a great example of this, where, it's primarily been women going on their social channel to pin things that they wanted to buy or they had a fantasy about buying. But they've seen Pinterest release their stats this past fall where they're seeing increased usage of men. And so they're now trying to tailor their social channel to men. So I think it's something that if you're looking to innovate in 2016, and no matter what industry you're in, whether it's food, makeup, whatever, really thinking about how men play a role in it, whether it's fathers, brothers, anything, thinking about how men play a role in it, I think it's crucial. Number three, we need PR specialists. I think you always need those experts that are really great at navigating the media waters, but I do believe the traditional press release is on its way out. I think it's an antiquated way to get awareness for a topic, unless you are Apple or you have a gigantic announcement that has to go out. I think there's a better use of time and energy spent on building relationships with industry leaders, industry influencers, key advocates out there who can help you move your message forward. I think investing in really cool graphics and really cool content is also another way, a better usage of time and money as well than the traditional press release. You've got the media who are one segment when it comes to pushing out any kind of news, but then you've got you and I. We are in some way our own kind of news outlet as well. And it's just as powerful today as if Joe Blow finds your message and shares it to his 20,000 followers than a media outlet. Yes, a media outlet still has prestige and they typically have a bigger following, but we're living in a world now where there's no mere separation, church and state, if you will, right? So you've got CNN, and you've got Huffington Post, you've got all these big outlets, but then you've got these individuals who are on social and have built just as big of a following engagement as well. So number 4, online reputation management. How people find you when they look for you. 2016, I believe, we've always had online reputation managers. So a lot of these things I'm telling you aren't brand new, but what I'm stressing is that they are going to need a greater amount of your attention and care in 2016. It's really important. We make our decisions on a job, on a product, on investing in something based on what comes up in the search engines. Yet so many of us have never even done a Google search of ourselves. I'm a firm believer of setting Google alerts, and I'll include the directions for this in my blog post tomorrow. And these are free alerts that tell me when anytime my name comes up, anytime my client's name. And it's not about being paranoid or control freak, which I guess I am a little bit, but it's really about keep putting your arms around the big, huge space that's Google. I'd rather know ahead of the content than be behind it if something bad came out. And because so many of us work in industries or we're in careers where our reputation is huge as far as getting recommendations or getting reviews on our food or our clothes, that knowing what people are saying about you is crucial. So I would even suggest tonight, if you haven't done a Google search on your name in a while, tonight would be a great time. In fact, I'll be chatting this whole time, but I would pull up Google right now and see what comes up. If it's old, that also tells you that it's time to freshen up your content. You've got to do something to move the content forward. But I also think if you don't see anything, it's just like when you have bad credit versus no credit in a car dealership. A lot of dealerships think just having no credit is just as bad as having bad credit. So if we don't find anything for you, I think your relevancy when it comes to social world we live in, it starts to be questioned. So not having anything is just as bad as having bad things. So I think it's important to stay on top of that. Because I set the Google alerts, which are free, it just keeps me on top of that. And I set time every month to go through and look to see what's going on, just to make sure things are current and there's no hot mess or anything out there. Then so I can at least, I'd rather be ahead of it than if a client or a partner was wanting to connect with me and they found it first. That's what you don't want. Number 5, marketing automation. It sounds very techy and difficult, but it's not. So one of the things that the Kardashians do ridiculously well is produce fresh content repeatedly and continuously. You may not like what they represent, or you may not even like their style or their TV show, but one of the things that they've mastered and why they've made so much money is because they are the queens of putting out new stuff about themselves all the time. And yes, it sounds very narcissistic, but that is what social media is. There's a big level of narcissism in social media. And so if you are someone who wants to use social media to monetize anything you're doing, if you want to make money, if you want to get the word out about your nonprofit, you've got to be producing fresh content all the time. And this is content that's different per channel. One of the mistakes, and I do it and I've done it, is to use the same content on all 3 or all 4 or all 2 of your channels at the same time. So if I'm following you, it means I've now seen that message 3 times. It's kind of lazy, and it's also not caring about the connection. It's not caring about the different people that have followed you on different channels. And also the fact that each channel has a different use and a different purpose. What you do on Facebook is totally different than what you would do on Instagram. And also too, a lot of times we post things based on the times that work for us. And most of your engagement awareness is not based on what works for you. It's what works on the people that you're trying to connect to or connect with. And so I think marketing automation, there's several platforms. Hootsuite is one that a lot of people use for social media, but there's tons of them. Allows you to do it a Kardashian way, put out fresh content all the time, but also allows you to schedule it so that it feels organic and natural. There's different things happening on different channels. So that's a real, truly authentic networking, social networking, online network you're doing, and not just putting out something just to put it out. There's no longer an excuse in 2016 to post once a week, or to only post at 5 in the morning because that's the only time you have to post. We're no longer excuses anymore. In 2016, we're pushing our influence further ahead. We are taking our reputations seriously, but we also are taking our content seriously, and we're going to put out quality things at different times for the different audiences, because that's what you do when you care about the connection. And that is marketing automation. And I'll share some examples of some cool tools. There's some free ones, but if you want to get real fancy with it, of course there's some paid options. one of the cool things about some of the paid options is you can actually start to get data from all this stuff. So if you're posting at 4 in the morning versus posting at 8 at night, who's following you? And some of those platforms give you all kind of cool information about that. And I think that's important if you're using any of your communication channels to do something with them. If you're just posting just to post, you don't care what happens, then you can ignore pretty much all of this. Number 6 is a biggie for me. It is think global, not local. And I think this is something that I'm very passionate about. I've been working on a search engine for women over the last year called Zeal, with the goal of connecting women all around the world, and not being confined to the zip code we live in when it comes to networking opportunities or building our careers. And you can now reach the world with a tweet, a blog post, or just social media so simply now. And I don't think we're aware of that when it comes to our careers. If you're someone who is working on your content schedule for your social media, not just thinking local, but really thinking there's nothing stopping you now when it comes to networking anymore. And that's one of the things I'm passionate about for 2016 is getting women, but men too, to really be thinking that there's nothing stopping you. There is a woman or a guy in Paris that has the same issues that you have, or there is a mom in Toronto who is trying to figure out what to write, just the same as a dad or a guy in Atlanta. We're no longer restricted. Social media has broken those chains and has made this world, one unified world. And the tweet, whatever social channel you use, is the great equalizer. So as you were thinking about 2016 and whether it's your career or anything, is to start thinking global, not just local. Number 7, mobile first. So desktop second. Mobile first, desktop second. We are living in some really interesting times now, and it's something that I don't know if people could predict this a couple years back. And this trend isn't new by any means, because anybody that's worked in marketing has seen the rise of mobile for the last couple years. But my trend for 2016 is to really actively, as an individual, but as someone who's building anything, to think mobile first. When it comes to websites, even when you think about the design of it, you've got to think, will this look good mobile? And I'm a person who follows the money when it comes to marketing or branding strategies. Facebook, 75% of revenues from Facebook come from mobile advertising. And so that tells me that Facebook realizes the fact of how important mobile is. So therefore, all the strategies and all the things they're rolling out with Facebook are with mobile in mind. And so I ask you to challenge yourself, if it's your resume, if it is a blog post, if it's a promotion you're sending out for your new business, to think mobile first. Does this look good on my cell phone, my tablet, whatever? Is it easy to read? Is it easy to navigate? How do people sign up? Have you made it easy to find everything, or do I have to search with everything? It should be a nice flow with the content and with the layout of everything. So if you're in the process right now of designing anything, I would ask you to work with your designer, if it's you designing it, to think mobile first, desktop second. Does this look good mobile? Because that is where we're headed right now. 75% of the bazillion dollars that Facebook has earned has come from mobile. So therefore, that's where they're leading all their strategy and all their efforts. So therefore, we should also do the same as well. Number 8. So social media was free. It no longer is. You really do have to pay to play if you want to see any kind of maximization or effectiveness when you do any posting. That kind of sucks for me to say that, because when social media first started, it was just these simple channels. But just like with anything, if you started a business on the side, or if you've invested college or education into your career, you want to see a return. And I think Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, for example, definitely wanted to build this massive, awesome social channel. But, he would be remiss if he didn't start to think about how to monetize it. And so right now, yes, you can post free on all the channels. There's nothing mandatory requiring you to pay at all. But if you want that content to be seen, you have to pay to play. It's no longer a choice in 2016. There's really kind of it now. We've kind of already hit that place now. And if you're a marketer like myself, who's been doing this for clients and for themselves, you see this already. If you are posting on social channels and you're not investing or paying anything, very little of your content is being seen. Now, if you're not somebody who's on there who's trying to share anything or promote anything, then you're okay. But for the most part, if you're trying to build awareness around a nonprofit cause you love, if you are looking for a job, or you're trying to sell something, if you are rolling out a new product, new service, if you just started a new blog, it's in your best interest to invest in some sort of advertisement. So you have to pay to play if you want it to be seen. And it's not necessarily bad on Facebook. All the social channels are moving towards this. They just did it first. Snap, Insta, all of them are moving towards this. They're not there yet, but they will all get there. Even LinkedIn. I mean, you can start to see them all incorporating some of this because that is where they have to monetize their platforms. That's with any job, any benefit, anything you do. If you're not getting paid by something as a hobby, and it's okay if you are fine with being a hobby, but most of us that have rolled out a new company, a business, or anything, even Zeal, I want to build this amazing connector or search engine for women to find each other. But eventually, yes, I would love to figure out a way for it to be monetized so that it can be something that I can do and build upon and grow it, but you need money to do that. And so Facebook's the same way, Insta's the same way, so you've got to pay to play. If you aren't using social for any kind of awareness, then no, you can continue posting and not paying for anything. But if you're somebody who sees yourself as wanting to have other people see what you're posting, you will have to incorporate some pay to play. You'll have to invest a little bit. And it's not just investing either, it's also measuring. So if you pay $50, you pay $20, what was your return? So it's not just be throwing money down the drain either. It's also about, if I'm going to invest it, I want to see something happen. I don't pay for anything unless I see a return on it. I'll test some things out, but if I'm not seeing more likes or more traffic to my website or people talking about something, there's no point in it either. So you've got to pay to play on social, but you've also got to be aware of what you're doing as well. Number 9, we're almost done with our top 10 2016 marketing trends. Number 9 is hashtags. So I think 2015 was kind of the single girl, if you will, hashtag. Tons of them being used as far as playing around, and nothing serious, no really rhyme or reason for some. And I'm a guilty culprit of this too. 20 to 30 sometimes. I've seen some people use 40. And in 2015, I think that's okay because we were all just getting our feet wet still with hashtags and what they do and how they're more effective. I think in 2016, we're getting more subtle. We're getting more in the married version of the hashtag now, where we are now becoming more specific and targeted with our hashtag usage. So if you're trying to attract Dallas soccer moms, you're going to be very specific about that when it comes to hashtags. You're not going to try to get to everybody. I think you'll still have people who will hashtag hijack. So like if there's a big trending topic, you'll see somebody use that in their post to be a part of the conversation. You'll still see that. But I think individually, we're going to be more thoughtful when it comes to our hashtags. And we're going to only use the hashtags that are truly going to get us to our targeted audience. And we're going to know who our targeted audience is, I think, by being more thoughtful about the connections. But I think along with that, we're also going to be more organic with the hashtags we use. And we're going to select hashtags that have some meaning, have some soul. And we're going to use them on a repeated basis. A lot of times people are using hashtags in a very faddish, trendy kind of way. They'll just use it once or twice, you never see it again. But I think now in 2016, as influence, we're looking at influence in a much more, a deeper way. We're going to look at hashtags the same as well. I think it'd be really cool for every individual to identify a hashtag that means something to them and to use it on a regular basis so that their community of followers also get to connect with it as well. And they see it's not just something a fad or whatever, but it means something to you. So I think authentic, organic hashtag usage is definitely, we're headed towards that way. Number 10, the final marketing trend I predict or forecast for 2016 are apps. We are now in a society that is web by mobile, meaning the majority of us find the internet or connect on the internet, our social channels via our mobile phones. So therefore, we have a responsibility to ensure that the content we're putting out there is easy for people to get to on their phones. It's visually stimulating on the phones, and it makes the user experience better as well. And for a long time, apps were like this kind of faraway thing where it was just for big companies or They were thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, I always think about the Kim Kardashian game app that she's got out now that I think cost $200 and something thousand to produce. You'll still have those big gamification, big, huge, extensive apps. But I think now as an individual consumer or individual person, we now have the ability to use apps too. Apps make your content in a very compact and concise and neat. It organizes it in a very user-friendly way so that when the person logs or downloads the app, it's there. It's easy for them to get to. They can pull it up whenever they want to as well. But also, too, I think apps provide a way for you to stand out a little bit, too. You know, if you're someone who is an artist or a designer, how cool would it be for you to have an app where people pull it up? It's got your resume, it's got a gallery of your designs, your drawings, or the pieces you've been created. Or what if you're a blogger too? I think having a blog and create an app could really make you stand out. I think we've thought that there are these really expensive things that are only for big companies like Coca-Cola or Sewell, Cadillac, or whatever. But I think the individual, as we go to 2016, if you're looking for greater usage of your influence to move it forward and more authentic usage of those hashtags and managing our online reputation, I think an app could be a really cool tool to do all those things, but also make you stand out from the crowd. And I think as we stand in 2016, as we move towards 2016, that's one of the goals for each of us, whether we are trying to figure out what we want to do in our careers or we are rolling out something new. Finding ways to stand out, I think, are going to be crucial. And a very cool app, affordable of course, could be one of those ways for you to stand out from the crowd. Okay, so I'm going to repeat these 10 trends for you. Like I said, they will be, this video will be shared in the Brand It Forward Facebook group. I also will be sharing tomorrow in that group a LinkedIn blog post that's written out with some samples and examples. So it'll help you as you're kind of figuring out how to apply these trends to your own life. So the top trends, again, I'm just going to read through these. Number 1, influence. Where will your influence take you in 2016? 2, men. How are you viewing them as a really fast growing demographic? How are you viewing them when it comes to your own engagement? 3, PR specialists will always be needed, but the traditional press release is antiquated and on its way out. There's other ways, I think, building relationships and connecting with the key influencers that can push your message forward. 4, online reputation management. What do people do when they search you? What do they find when they Google you? And what are you doing to maintain that and manage it? 5, marketing automation. It's time to get our Kardashian on, and not in that way, but in the constant fresh content daily. How do you keep content going? How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it rolling at different times? And that's by automating it. And there's lots of tools, which I'll include in the post tomorrow, that'll help you do that. 6, my biggie, think global, not local. Your tweet, your blog post can go global within seconds now because of social media and technology. So it's really important as you go to 2016 to view yourself and your goals and your dreams and your efforts that you're going to be putting forward in a global perspective too. Number 7, mobile first. Facebook, 75% of that bajillion dollars came from mobile. So therefore, everything they do is gear them towards that. Follow the money when it comes to your marketing, your branding effort. If this is where the money is, that's what you want to lead toward. And so you want to make sure that if you're in the designing of a website or anything, your resume, anything, that when I put it on my phone, it's visually stimulating, but it's also easy to read and easy to find and navigate. 8, social media was free, 2016. You got to pay to play. And it's not a negative thing, it's just reality versus fantasy. If you want your content to be seen, if you want to use social media for monetization purposes or engagement purposes or promotion purposes, you've got to pay to play. All the current channels are free, but it doesn't mean your content is being shown. In 2016, you've got to start thinking about yourself and thinking about budgeting this into your own personal or professional budget if you want to use social media to promote anything. So long with paying to play, you want to measure the result. Don't just pay $5 and not see what happened with the $5. When you do any kind of advertising online, one of the cool things is you do get analytics or data that'll let you know what happened with that investment. It's very important to read those or to get someone to help you read those so that your investment means something. Number 9, hashtags. 2016 hashtags are going to be more specific, targeted. You'll still have people who will hashtag hijack, meaning a popular trending topic, they'll pull that hashtag. But I think in 2016 they're going to start to mean something. We're going to be more targeted. We won't be using 20 or 30 hashtags anymore. I think that's going to get played out a little bit. But I also think individually we're going to start to select hashtags that mean something, and we're going to use them on a consistent, repeated basis, so that our community, our followers, also start to connect with them too. That's my rolls out. So it's hashtag more authentic, less 40, less quality, not quantity. So not 40, maybe 4 or 5 this time, or maybe just 2. And we're also going to start to select hashtags that mean something to us personally, and we're going to be using those on a consistent, authentic basis. Final trend, apps, which used to be for the big boys. It used to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I do believe now, since we're living in a web by mobile world, and that most people are finding you or finding your content via mobile first, that anything we can do to make our content look great, organized, concise, visually attractive, we need to go all for. And I think apps provide a great way to make it very organized and stimulating for the person that's looking at it. I also think it lets you stand out from a crowd. If you're a blogger, or if you're actually looking to find your next gig, I think there's not, in that space, there's not many people who are doing apps yet, because I think they still think they're for big time or they're huge and really expensive. I think you can get away with some really affordable apps in 2016. I think it's a fantastic way for you to stand out from the crowd. Okay, so those are the top 10 trends. Hopefully this audio was good. I'm going to share these in the Brand It Forward Facebook group, and I will also be sharing them in a LinkedIn post. As I said, Brand It Forward, it's not something I'm being paid for. I felt a need to give back from all the mistakes I've made and all the things I've learned. I really wanted to share some of the just great information I've learned from so many amazing people, but also if I could prevent you from making some of the same mistakes or wasting some of the time I did or money. That's a whole other topic. So Brand It Forward is really literally like pay it forward. If you know someone who's in the midst of trying to figure out what they want to do career-wise, or they're looking to maybe start something, or they're having problems selling something or building a community, I would invite you to share this video or invite them to the Facebook group. And these classes are going to be the second Monday of every month now through October 2016. This annual giving campaign is called Brand It Forward, and I'm still learning how it works. It's something so I definitely am excited about, and see what the future holds as well. I do have a special surprise though for all the Brand It Forward members up until midnight tonight, which today is December 14th. So up to midnight tonight, if you are a current member of Facebook, the Facebook group Brand It Forward, I'm super excited to invite you to some cool project I've been working on for the last year with My For Life, which was a networking initiative I started 3 years ago for smart and stylish women just looking to make new connections. We did our last event in April, and I have been working hard to try to see what's next for My For Life. I didn't want it just to be about the events. I wanted to start thinking global, not local. And so with the help of 4 to 5 other just amazing women around the country who are experts in HR, marketing, fitness. I mean, just been amazed to get the wealth from these ladies. And there's a guy. Is that we're actually going to begin offering very cool, stylish online curriculum started in 2016. I went out and researched what was out there for women as far as leadership curriculum or professional development. It was either super expensive or it was old and antiquated. It just looked boring. I was like, I don't want to hang out with that. So I really wanted something that was sleek and modern, but I also wanted bite-sized stuff. You know, we have short attention spans and we're busy. It's hard for me to finish books now because I have so much stuff going on. In my mind, attention deficit, I guess, but I wanted just really cool information out there that looked really cool and stylish, but also was bite-sized stuff, so it wasn't too hard. So for all the members of the Facebook group Brand It Forward, through midnight tonight, you're going to get complimentary access to that for a whole year. And even when I say complimentary, it's not even going to be that expensive, because I went out there and looked and saw thousands of dollars. This is going to be something so affordable, because you know, every now and then we all have broke moments. I've had one. Several I have still today, even with the success that I've tried to have, I still have broke ramen moments. And so I never feel like education or connection should break the bank. And so I'm excited to roll that out. We'll probably announce it at the first of the year. But for all Branded Forward group members, you get complimentary access, and it is information, it's mentoring, it's all kind of cool. So I cannot wait till you guys get to see it. It's been something that I've been working on, and it sounds like I have tons of stuff going on, right? They all overlap actually, which is what's been the exciting part. Zeal and everything's connected. It's just building this really amazing community of women, and how do we get ourselves to be the best we can be in affordable and a fast way, because we don't have time and all of us don't have a lot of money. And so that's really what I've been working on with some amazing ladies that I'm now kind of proud to call friends too. So anyway, stay tuned for that. That will be announced after the first of the year. I'll be sharing this announcement in the Branded Forward group, of course, if you didn't see this initially. But please, if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me on social. I'm on every channel, or join the group. I'm excited to see what happens in 2016 with Branded Forward, but more importantly, I'm excited to see kind of what happens with you. Please feel free to share this, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys online and offline. Have a good night. Oh, and happy holidays.